Hello, welcome to day one video about how to manage your stress-induced high blood pressure with therapy. All right, first of all, I would like to start this video by describing what is high blood pressure. High blood pressure is when the pressure in your blood vessel is high. Now, if you've ever seen the readings of your blood pressure, you see that there is a number at the top and a number at the bottom. The number at the top is called systolic blood pressure and the number at the bottom is called diastolic blood pressure. Now, the systolic blood pressure is the pressure in your blood vessel when your heart is contracting. Remember, your heart is pumping. So your heart contracts, pumps blood out into your blood vessel and then relaxes. When your heart relaxes, it then receives blood from blood vessels. All right. So when your heart is contracting, the number at the top is the reading of your blood pressure when your heart is contracting. And then the number at the bottom, the reading of your blood pressure when your heart is relaxing. Now, there are different types of high blood pressure. So first of all, I will start with the normal. The normal is usually 120/80, below 120/80. Of course, when I say below, I mean when the number at the top is between 90 and 120 and the number at the bottom is between 60 and 80. So that's the normal blood pressure. Now we have elevated blood pressure. Elevated blood pressure is when the number at the top is between 120 to 129 and the number at the bottom is below 80. Now, we've not yet gotten into like high blood pressure, but when your blood pressure is around this range, you should be careful. All right. And then we have stage 1 high blood pressure. Stage 1 high blood pressure is when your blood pressure is between 130 to 139 at the top, and then your blood pressure at the bottom is between 80 to 89. That's the stage 1 high blood pressure. Then stage 2 high blood pressure is when your blood pressure at the top is between 140 to 179 and the blood pressure at the bottom is between 90 to 119. Now, when we talk about hypertension crisis is when the blood pressure at the top is above 180 and the blood pressure at the bottom is above 120. Now, at this point, it's a crisis. The blood pressure has to be beaten down as quickly as possible. All right. Now, what are the symptoms of high blood pressure? We have headache, like severe headache that probably might go down to your neck and your shoulder, but headache basically doesn't have to have that distribution. The one that goes down to your neck and your shoulder is called tension headache, but it just means that your body is tensed. Okay. A lot of people that have that headache and has high blood pressure have tension headache. And so we have headache, we have dizziness, we have nosebleeds, we have heart palpitations. All right. And the complications of high blood pressure is really, really bad. It's going to affect every single part of your body, from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet. You're talking about from the brain, you're talking about stroke. The eyes, it can lead to vision loss, changes, like significant changes. Then it can lead to heart attack. It can lead to fluid accumulating in your lungs. It can lead to pregnancy complications. That's when you're talking about preeclampsia, eclampsia. It can lead to kidney damage, and that's like really terrible. You're now having to need dialysis. That really affects the quality of your life. It can also lead to impairment cognitively. Like it could lead to cognitive impairments like Alzheimer's, okay, or vascular dementia. It could also affect your mood, because when you're having headache, you're tired, you're feeling dizzy, you're just not in the mood to do anything, you're not in the mood to read, it affects your mood. It also affects your sexual function. All right. In men, it can cause erectile dysfunction, and in women, it can cause decreased libido. it's a really, really serious disease. And this hypertension can be caused by genetics or lifestyle. All right. So if you watched my introductory message, I spoke about the fact that if it is genetics, then there is really nothing much you can do to prevent hypertension. But what you can do is to ensure that the hypertension does not go overboard and that your blood pressure is well managed on the medication that you're on. Because there are people that are on medication and every time they go to see their doctor, their pressure is still very high, and the doctor would now keep on having to add another blood pressure medication on top of another blood pressure medication on top of another one. All right. The doctor just keeps on increasing the amount of blood pressure that they have to give this patient because it's not well controlled. We do not want that for you, even if it is genetics. If it is genetics, it's very, 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 very possible to manage your blood pressure very well with 1 or 2 blood pressure medication. Okay. And if it is lifestyle, then it's very, very possible to either reverse it completely, or like I said about the genetics, your blood pressure will be well completely managed on 1 or 2 blood pressure medication. Okay. So that is why I am doing this course, because if it is lifestyle changes that you need, then you need stress management. Now, stress management could come both psychologically and physically. And what do I mean by that? So psychologically, maybe you're having issues in your family, you're having issues at work, you're just having issues that is making you to be very, very tensed and making you to think a lot. Then this course would really, really help you and show you the roadmap on how to manage that. Also physically, what do I mean by physical stress? I mean that if you have unhealthy diet and if you are overweight or you are obese or you just don't exercise too much, you're just very, very sedentary, then it can cause physical stress. And you choosing healthy meals, exercising, losing weight can significantly reduce your blood pressure. And this is what this course is going to lead you through. Now, as for the psychological part, the mental part, let me just explain. It might not necessarily be in full details. I'm going to explain in full detail in the next video. But I just want to give you an idea of how your mental state, how overthinking or how stress can lead you to having high blood pressure. All right. So God is so good. God has given every human being the ability to protect themselves whenever they are in danger. So, for example, if you're sitting down and you're not troubling anybody, you're not disturbing anybody, and somebody is coming at you with like a dangerous object to like strike you, what your body does is that it goes into a stress response mode in order to protect you from that harm. So instinctively, everybody's different. Everybody would react differently, but everybody's reaction is so that they can protect themselves from that harm. All right. So your body goes into overdrive, and then some of you would actually go at that person. Like the person is coming at you and you get up, you get something and you're going after that person to also defend yourself. While some people would see that person coming after them and they get up and run the opposite way, like run away. All right. And there's just some people that they see the person coming at them and they just freeze. They're so fear gripped that they can't move. And so they just freeze as the person is coming at them. And then there's some people that as the person is coming at them, they start trying to cajole the person. Like, trying to say things to like change the person's mind. Like, do you want me to lie down, or do you want me to give you money, or do you want me to, you understand? Now, these 4 things are called stress responses. The person that goes after the attacker has a stress response known as fight stress response. The person that runs away has a stress response known as flight response. The person that freezes has a stress response known as freeze stress response. And the person that tries to cajole you and tries to give you money and tries to just do things even if it's in not in their best interest is known as fawn stress response. Now, these are God-given stress responses to us. They're supposed to be good, all right? But it becomes bad when even when the trigger has been lifted off, you're still experiencing those stress response. And why it's bad is because in order for you to be able to fight or flee or stay frozen or start giving something to discourage the person from harming you, there are some physiological activities that start going on in your body. Your heart rate is increasing in order to give you that energy to run or to fly. Your blood pressure is increasing in order to give you that energy to act. Your adrenaline level is high. Your body is getting ready for war, which, like I said, is good when there is a trigger. But when there is no more trigger, your body has that ability to still stay in that stressed mode. All right. And the part of the nervous system that is responsible for that stress mode is known as the sympathetic nervous system. All right. And then the opposite is same for the other part of the nervous system, which is known as the parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system is responsible for calming you down, while the sympathetic nervous system is the part of your nervous system that is activating you. So when you are constantly being activated by your sympathetic nervous system, there are things that you need to do to activate your parasympathetic nervous system to induce calm. And those things are the things that you'll be learning in this online course. So I wanted to give you a quick overview of what you're going to be expecting in the next couple of days. So the homework that I need for you to do is two things. Remember in the introductory video, I had mentioned the fact that you're going to be logging in your blood pressure readings every day. So if you do not have a blood pressure machine, it's so important for your health. Please don't say it's too expensive. Please don't say I don't have time. This is your health you're talking about. Your health is very, very important. If you become incapacitated, you become blind, or you have stroke, or you have a heart attack, you will spend even much more. So you need to take some amount of money and buy a blood pressure machine. Very, very important. Okay, so that is number one. Now, number two, the other homework that I would need for you to do is to write down what you think your triggers are in terms of stress, because we just spoke about stress. Okay, so write down what you think your triggers are, and I will speak more about that tomorrow. Okay, but just write down what you think triggers your stress. It could be work. It could be your marriage, it could be your child, it could be your boss, it could be anything. I need you to get a pen and buy a book that is dedicated to stress management and just journal it down what you think your triggers for stress are. So those are the two things I need you to do today. Get a blood pressure machine and get a book and a pen and write down your triggers. Okay. Now in the next video, I'm going to be speaking more about this fight, flight, freeze, fawn, stress responses, the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system, and how to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the calming part, the part of the nervous system that is responsible for calming you down, thereby reducing your blood pressure and reducing those responses in your body that is activating you, keeping you in a stress response state. Okay? So thank you for joining me on day one, and I will see you on day two.